How's it going, everybody? So back with another review. I'm doing this the same day that I did the Bandmade one. Probably get it out in the same day, maybe? Hopefully. So I just wanted to review this one real quick because this one's actually a pre-order that you can do if you're in Europe and I think North America. I could be wrong. Anyway, this album has been out in Japan since December 2nd, 2015, and for some reason, I guess better late than never. Here, 2017 March, you want the album? You can pre-order it? Actually, wait, why are we pre-ordering an almost 2-year album? That's weird. That's really weird, now that I think about that. Holy crap. What? There's dubbing or anything. You already made it. Maybe it's the booklets. Maybe we're pre-ordering because they gotta put an English version in the booklet. Something the Bandmade album did too. They kind of put the Japanese lyrics and then the English lyrics at the end. So maybe it's gonna do it with this. I can only assume that's the reason why we're pre-ordering an album. Anyway, so I want to talk about this and the band real quick. Aldious. Aldious. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. Because the Japanese A is Aldious. Aldious. I think that Aldious. Oh my god. Listen, I know a little bit of Japanese. More than anything, I know the vocabulary, the pronunciation of the vowels. I have that embedded in my brain in how to pronounce the Japanese R. Yeah, Aldious. I'll just stick with Aldious. It's an interesting name, especially since the L, that's not in the Japanese vocabulary. The R is Aldious. Aldious. Oh, maybe that's how it's pronounced in Japan. Anyway, so a little bit about my history with this band. A long, long time ago, when I first got into Japanese metal, I had a friend at the job that I worked with, and I'm trying to tell her about this one band that I saw, an all-female, metal group of women rocking out on live, and they're playing, speed metal, or, it kind of reminded me of, 80s hair metal, and they're rocking out in these dresses, and they're headbanging with their extravagant hair and their bows, and they look, really pretty, but they're playing metal. Or really fast guitar riffs, and I was just I want to get back to you on this. I want to tell you who this band is, but I don't know. So that night, I went home and Wikipedia'd Japanese all-female rock bands or all whatever, and I got a list of all these female rock bands in Japan. I just clicked, and I was like, all right, is this the one? No. Is this the one? No. So I found them, and it was Aldious I was talking about. But at the time, I really wasn't into their music. I was like, you gotta check this out. This exists in this world. I was kind of let you know. And that was over 5 years ago, and I haven't listened to them since. The band that I fell in love with while scrolling through that list of all-female Japanese metal bands, and the band that got me into Japanese metal was Exist Trace. I saw their video for, I think it was Liquid and Judea. Judea I wasn't really into, but then Liquid, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is what I want in music. This is amazing. And started with Exist Trace, and it just went from there. 5-6 years later, I just found band after band after band after band in the Japanese metal scene. And I've come full circle, and I've found Aldious again, and I love their music. So this is a pre-order on Amazon. I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering this album. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I'll give my score at the end, but I'm going to pre-order this album. I have two major problems with this album. One's major, one's not so much major. One's about the tracks themselves, and I'll get into that when I talk about the album. One's about the price on Amazon. It's about $16.99. That's a bit much. Hold on. Okay, so there's 11 tracks, and I know the Amazon American version, it's actually, they're going to add 2 live That's true. I guess that's why we're pruning. They're adding 2 live tracks. I'm never a fan of live tracks. I do not like live tracks on an album. I think that is a cop-out for adding more tracks on an album. I don't like them. That's, not a Japanese thing. That's an American thing. Everybody does that. Every rock band does that once or twice. All live tracks, like a live album, some I like. I'll admit I have some. I don't really like live recorded music. If I want live music, I'm gonna go see you live. I don't like that in an album. I don't know. But I will admit, there has been music where the live version is better. It's rare. It's very rare. But I would actually prefer to listen to live. Actually, I like to keep, I like the studio version, and I like how that sounds, and I really like the live version. I like to keep both. I think the best example I'll give, and just go off topic here, the best example I can give is an underground, non-commercial, released song by Linkin Park called QWERTY. So look at your keyboard, QWERTY. So if you look at the top left of your keyboard, look at the Q, then WERTY, that's the song name. So look that up. Look up the studio version, which I also believe some fans named it Behind Your Lies, but it's called QWERTY. And also look up the live version in Japan. Holy shit! They're 2 different sounding songs, even though they're the same song, and it's just both of them have their pros and cons. So, that's the best example I can give. So, I know the American version is coming with that. Is it worth $17? Oh, I think that's a bit much. It's a bit much for an album, especially when there's only 11 tracks. If you came with a bonus CD or DVD, even if it's just music videos, I would understand. But it isn't. And, I don't want that to knock down the score a little bit, but I think you'll have to. Anyway, so the album. There's a reason why I got back into Aldious. One of the things I follow on Facebook is called JPU Records, and sadly they don't give 2 shits about importing Japanese music to America. They mainly focus on importing Japanese music to Europe. And they're doing that now with this. They did it with Bandmade. They do it with the Gazette. Now they don't have anything to do with Baby Metal and 1OK Rock. They're kind of like their own forces. Duran Gray, I think Duran Gray is its own force too. So they just kind of do whatever. But anyway, they're bringing this to Europe, and I don't think they have anything whatsoever to do with it being released on Amazon. But there is always a coincidence of, if JPU Records is going to release this album to Europe, somehow Amazon always is like, okay, we're going to release it to America. They're not connected. I know that because I talked to them on Facebook, just comments on one of their videos about how Bandmade and Just Bring It, and I asked them, is this gonna something? I forgot, but they pretty much confirmed for me. Whoever represented their social page on Facebook that, hey, no, that Amazon listing has nothing to do with us. So I'll take that for what it is. But yeah, so it's coming out March 24th. So yeah, a few more days. And so, all right, here's my review of the album. It starts off really good. Fire is the name of the first song. Really good, like a good fast-paced. And that's the thing. Now, I'm looking at this on my Windows Media Player, and the genre it titles the album is melodic power metal. And yeah, that's actually a good description of, now I think about it. I kind of always assumed Aldious was like speed metal or 80s hair metal, kind of like that. For one, Aldious reminds me of like a mix between old, get this straight, old Exist Trace, not new Exist Trace, old Exist Trace. I kind of like the new Exist Trace, but they're definitely nowhere. They're their own style now. They're still making good music, but I love their old stuff. So they're a mix between old Exist Trace and Evanescence. That's how I kind of see Aldious. And the reason I kind of put in Evanescence is the lead singer reminds me a bit of Amy Lee. Now, debating whether or not who has the better voice, I think probably goes in favor of Amy Lee. But mainly because they both have very, very, very good sounding voices. Very pleasant to the ears. Neither of them scream. Although I will admit, there is one Evanescence song where Amy Lee actually screams. That's Tourniquet. There's actually just one Evanescence song. I've just been listening to a lot of Aldious, and I've yet to find a song out of all their albums where the lead singer of Aldious screams. She does not scream. She does not growl. It's just pure singing behind this power metal, I guess. And she adds a melodic, chord to that. And she's very good. However, there are some songs on this album and on other albums where she sounds, and this is where I'm going to give the edge to Amy Lee, she sounds, I don't want to say disinterested or bored, but kind of bored, where she just doesn't add enough power behind her really good sounding voice, and has awesome like drums and bass and guitar in the background, and she sings kind of like, not monotone, she does not have a monotone voice at all. But it's like, you could add just a tiny bit more energy. I'd like a little bit more energy. I'd like some growls, if anything. If you can't scream, understandable, but everyone can. It's all the phlegm and, your diaphragm. You can pull out a growl, Gio from Exist Trace used to do that a lot. Actually, I think she did a little bit more screaming, especially in Judea, and she does not do that anymore. So, I mean, there's a safe way to growl, to make it sound like you're screaming, but you're really not. It's all in the microphone. Don't cup it. Do not cup the microphone. That's a lesson I learned. But if you can growl in a certain way, you do not have to make it so loud where it hurts your throat at all. You can growl and growl and growl, and your throat might get a little raspy after, 10, 15 minutes, but it's not going to hurt, and it's not going to do any damage. There is a safe way and a good sounding way to do it, and women can do it too. There's some songs I wish she would do it. However, there are some songs where her sweet melodic voice is just like perfect. I think of the song Sweet Temptation. Holy shit. Yeah, her voice is perfect for the song. The song starts off, I dare you to listen to the beginning of the song and not headbang. That's a headbang challenge right there. Listen to the beginning of Sweet Temptation and just like, I appreciate the song for what it is. It's not going to happen. You're going to be like, it's just, that's what you gotta do. And it's a really good song. There's actually a music video for it. And again, just like Bandmade, maybe JPU Records has something to do with this. It is not locked. It is not region locked. You can actually watch it. It's an interesting video with vampires. I'm sure there's something in it for the women too. That one vampire at the end, I'm sure they can swoon over him. But I just want to play one part. Hopefully I don't get copyright infringed for this. But to really show off her melodic, like, there's a part in Sweet Temptation, which I have it, like, on right now. So as soon as I hit play, it's going to play. And it's going to be low, but hopefully I don't get copyright infringed. You can hear the drums and the guitar and just how thrashing it is. And you hear her voice, and it just kind of makes me go like this. It's just like, and I'm not doing it justice, and I'm not trying to. But it's just like, oh man, I just kind of want to swing to this. But so here's the part I'm talking about, so you can get a good idea of her voice. But see what I'm talking about? You just kind of want to, like, oh, okay, your voice is like carrying me with the song. So Sweet Temptation is amazing. I really like that. Good single to, like, that song, listening to that, it's like, hold on, wait a minute. These sound more like the old Exist Trace. And her voice really does sound like Gio's from Exist Trace in this song, especially. And I was just like, wow, wait a minute. This is kind of how Exist Trace used to sound like. And that got me interested. So I listened to the album, and I'm like, I like this album. And I was like, what about their older stuff? I always thought they were like speed, like 80s hair metal. And they're not. I mean, there is some songs where it's like really fast, but, and I will admit some parts where it's like really fast and her voice, I don't feel carries on the same energy. but it's still really good music. It's still really good metal, and it's just like, I was like, man, I've been missing out on these girls. But yeah, these girls are different from Bandmate. They dress up, but they dress up all pretty. I think it's fair to say they dress up in like prom dresses and have bows, and they're all like makeup up, and they, they're five very beautiful women, but they play so fucking well. It's just like, holy shit. I think if you show any metalhead this, their probably first reaction, hopefully not anything misogynistic, but would be, there's no way these girls are playing this. There's no way. But they are. Just like Bandmate. A lot of people be like, are they really playing those instruments? Yeah, they are. And they're really good at what they do. Now, this is a review, so I gotta be critical of this album. I really like this album. It begins powerfully, and it ends powerfully. It's really good. There are a few songs. There are 3 songs on this album. And for me, I don't like them. I don't like this kind of music. And if you're gonna make a metal album, keep it consistent. But then again, back in the day, I used to listen to rap, and a lot of like gangster rappers would put in 1 or 2 love songs. So this isn't anything new to me. This is what artists do. They like to put some ballads in. Gazette does it, and they're my favorite band. They always will be. But, I have a right to not listen to them. That's what I'm saying. And I'll admit the Gazette do ballads really well. But there's not... Okay. So there's 3 songs on this album. And I'm thinking in my head, I can't really call them ballads. They're pop rock. Okay, there is one ballad. Track number 8, it's 6 minutes long. Actually, their music is long in general. It's, actually, never mind. That's actually on terms with Bandmate. Never mind, it's like 3 to 5 minutes. But this song, Piece of My Wish, track 8, 6 minutes and 10 seconds long. It's kind of a ballad. And ballads are whatever. Some ballads I like, if it's done well and has a good enough, like, passion and energy. But the 3 songs on this that I'm talking about, I'm not a fan of. And the 2 other songs are tracks 3 and 4. So thankfully they just get them like boom, boom. And then like right after that, Sweet Temptation. It's like, okay, we're back in it now. That's my personal opinion. I know a lot of women listen to this music and they love these kinds of songs. But so track 3, Die For You. And track 4, Step. Okay, so these songs kind of took me out of it. But the rest of the album is so damn good. Aside from track number 8, Piece of My Wish, which again, my personal opinion, I'm not saying they're bad songs, I'm saying they're not for me. Track 3, 4, and 8, not for me. But 3 and 4, I'm like, how are you going to go from the first 2 songs, Refire and The End, which are really good energy and passionate songs, and just, so energetic and headbanging and all that, and then Die For You and Step. So listening to these created an mental image of these women playing their instruments in the music video and being like playing, softly or whatever and just smiling, because there are a lot of like pop bands out there. It's just, and Japanese pop bands and stuff like that, where the women are playing their instrument, or the people are playing their instruments and they're just like smiling and they're like grooving and they're just like looking and smiling. And that's kind of what I feel of, like, if there were music videos for these 2 songs, Die For You and Step, it would just be the women in like a white background or whatever and just playing their instruments and smiling. And it's just like the rest of the album is not really like that. It's not like that. So it's just like it feels a bit out of place, and for me it's going to knock down the score a little bit. But overall, aside from those 3 songs, this is a kick-ass album. This album got me into Aldious, which is a band that's been around for a while. This album's been out for a while, and I'm probably going to pre-order the album now. Those 3 songs are not going to prevent me from wanting to get this album. That's for damn sure. This is a good metal album. It's something... Aldious is something to be seen. It's 5 beautiful women all dressed up with all hair done, and they headbang, and they just fucking rock out. It's something else. They're good at what they do. They may make some pop music here and there, but overall, this is a damn good album. And I'm glad that, I guess they're getting enough attention that they can be released in the EU in America. So, overall, I have to give this a 10 out of 10. I gave Bandmade Just Bring It a 10 out of 10. And I do think that's they're different styles, though, so I can't really say that's a better album. For me, personally, Just Bring It by Bandmade hits all the spots, and it's good, and it's excellent. So for this album, I would say it's probably Aldious's best album, maybe, or definitely in their top. Like I said, I've just been recently listening to all of Aldious' music, and this one's definitely high up there for me. I want to give it somewhere between 8 and a 9, so I think an 8.5 out of 9. I think 8 is a little lower than what this album deserves. 9 is a little too much, and I feel like the balance there is 8.5. But if you don't like the decimal point, then I guess I'll go with an 8. Screw it. I feel really this is an 8.5 out of 10, but I'll give this an 8, mainly because of the 3 songs that I'm not a fan of, and also too, I mean, this is a personal thing, but the Amazon price of $17 is a bit much. So yeah, I guess I'll give it an 8. But if you're, just downloading the album, digitally, if you live in Japan or whatever, I'd probably give this a 9, where that price isn't a factor. But just the 3 songs. Other than that, this is a kick-ass melodic power metal album, and you should definitely give it a listen to. Give Aldious a try, and it's something to be seen. So yeah, we'll go with an 8. I want to say 8.5. I want to say that, but go with an 8 out of 10 because it's a damn good album. But there's some songs, and there are some vocal parts in songs that make you go, does that really belong? I feel like that could use a little bit of I don't know, something else, But, alright, so that's Radiant A by Aldious. 8 out of 10 for me, so, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next. I might be backlogging some albums I missed in 2016, like Lynch's Avant-Garde. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's coming out within a few months, but I want to keep doing this. So if you guys stuck around this long, appreciate it. And give me some suggestions for good Jrock albums or not so good Jrock albums for me to review. I haven't checked the list of what's coming out this year, but Japanese artists put out music almost every year, sometimes twice a year. So yeah, I think Miyavi's got something coming out. Oh, that's the one, Firebird. I should review Firebird. That might be the next one I do, Miyavi Firebird. Yeah. All right, everybody. Rambling. Done. We're done. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.